Hello everyone. So today we're going to be talking about Supergirl with the whole DC announcements. We're going to be talking about some of the key issues. Not only that, but I'm going to be telling you guys like kind of a ranking of which ones are probably the most important keys, which is something you can't really get from the Key Collector app. You can find all of these on the Key Collector app with the exception of some of these, but it's all kind of a flat, which is one of my critiques of the Hot Top 10 lists that I've always had, is that every number one on the top 10 list is not equal. One week you might have one of the hottest books, Ultimate Fallout 4, and then the next week you'll have like a $10 book that just spiked, and then so not every number one is equal strength, I think. So that's been one of my critiques. But with this, my goal is to not only give you the keys, but also give you the strengths of the keys. Again, this is for like new collectors. If you're just starting to get in, then obviously you probably haven't been collecting Supergirl. But let's say you want to get into it. There is ways to go about it. Now, if you don't like Supergirl and you didn't like Tom King, you don't like the World Woman of Tomorrow storyline, I don't know what the point is of speculating on this. Like, because anything can happen. It's a long time. They could cancel the movie, anything. And if you don't like any of this stuff, then you're just going to be sitting on a bunch of stuff that has no value to you. Let's start off with the primary keys. Primary keys for me are pretty much keys that are directly affected by the project, which is the Woman of Tomorrow. All right. So obviously the biggest key here is going to be Action Comics 252, the first appearance of Kara Zor-El, and this is from 1959, Silver Age. So very expensive book. I think for low grades, I think you're going to be buying it at over $1,000, probably more now that the thing's going on. But if you're going to be gunning for any book on this list, gun for that one. I'm telling you, just gun for that one. So yeah, Action Comics 252, first appearance of Supergirl. There are other books, like there's like some books that like the prototype. There's like a prototype book. I really wouldn't worry about that. I feel like that's more of an old school collector thing. But I don't necessarily think it's a must-have key. All right, so next, Adventure Comics 210. So this is the first appearance of Crypto. This book is expensive, man. It is. I was surprised that Crypto was so much when I first looked at it a few years ago, because I did want a first Crypto, but yeah, this book is out of this world, literally. And I think for like a 5.5, you're looking at like 7,000 or something like that. And I think some of it's that this book is rare. Like, this is a book you don't see very often. And I think part of it might be because not a whole lot of collectors would be willing to put thousands of dollars on the first appearance of Super Pet. So I think that's why you don't always see it. And it's not a book that always sells. It's not something that it's super sought after, but it is a very nice book. It's literally the Grill Book of dogs. All right. So obviously that one, so Crypto is in the story. And he plays, I would say, more of a minor part of the story. So the next book is going to be Adventure Comics 293. So this is the first appearance of Comic, who does play a pretty important role into the story of the Woman of Tomorrow. So very good book, still very affordable. You can get copies for under $100. I think that's pretty good for a horse. It's not bad. I think Crypto's pretty cool, and some of my favorite art panels from Woman of Tomorrow are the Comet panels. Those were amazing. Next one is obviously Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King. This book, you can find it in, I think, two. You got A cover, and then you got the B cover by Gary Frank. I like both. I actually like the Gary Frank one because that actually has the cover appearance of the two first appearances in this book. So this book has two first appearances. The first appearance of Ruthie, and who's like the side character here for Supergirl, and then the villain. Villain's like, he's okay. I don't think he has much use beyond this. I wouldn't go too crazy on speculating. Wouldn't be surprised if they replace him with somebody else. But I don't think that they're going to replace Ruthie, because Ruthie, it plays an integral part of this story. As a matter of fact, the whole story is pretty much told from her perspective. So I think that this is going to be an important character going into the movie. Again, I like the Gary Frank one just because both first appearances are also on the cover. All right, so this next section of books, I call these the satellite books. All right, satellite books are pretty much books that are not directly affected or more like secondary books. So these are books that are kind of low priority. We'll go after these after you've pretty much secured some of the ones on the top. Or I would just pick these up if you ever find a good deal, or just if you ever run into them on a good deal. So first one is going to be Action Comics 253, which is the second appearance of Kara Zor-El, Supergirl. Pretty nice book. It's a lot more affordable than the first appearance. I would say if you can't get the first appearance, there's nothing wrong with going for the second. Next book is going to be Action Comics 293. This is the origin of Comet. Now, I don't think that this is going to Comet's first cover appearance, but I do think that this is one of his best cover appearances. Again, it's Satellite, a very cheap book. You can find a copy for under $50, which is actually really nice for DC Silver. The next book on here is going to be Action Comics 261, which is the first appearance of Streaky, the Super Cat. I really like this book. I like Streaky the Super Cat. While Streaky the Super Cat is not a big part of this Tom King storyline, like I don't think he's in it at all. He is pretty much an important part of other Supergirl runs. He was in Rebirth and you name it. Like anytime Supergirl shows up, Streaky the Super Cat's hanging out. And this is a pretty affordable book. Same thing. You can get a copy for under $50. You can get a decent copy for under $100. So very nice book. Very cool book. I like it. Personally, one of my favorites. This next section of books, these are cover buys. So the way I like to collect the first appearance, and then I also like to collect some cool covers. Sometimes I'll get the covers. So these are kind of covers that you can kind of pick up. But some of these are like considered Grail status covers, which I would not prioritize those over getting the first appearance. I would get the first appearance first, and then I would focus on getting like the Grail covers. And the first one I'm going to be talking about is the Legion of Superheroes. One where she's like sitting on a meteor. Very famous cover, very highly sought after for cover collectors, variant collectors, Supergirl collectors. Everybody wants this. Adam Hughes collectors. It's a very nice book. There's also a Mexican variant, which is pretty much the exact same thing, except it says Superman on it. Me personally, I have the Superman one. I have the Mexican variant, and I actually prefer it because the trade dress actually takes a lot less room on the cover, as opposed to the Legion of Superheroes, which takes a lot more real estate, which I think it gives the art a little bit more room to breathe. But it is what it is. You can go for either one. I think if you're looking for a 9.8, you're gonna do figures easy, maybe even 4 for a 9.8 of the Legion of Superheroes. The Mexican variant is a lot cheaper, obviously, but it's still a little bit of cash. So the next one I'm going to be talking about is Batman Superman number 8. So I'm not talking about the original one that actually came out in the early 2000s, which is actually a good story for Supergirl because it's her origin retold. Kara Zor-El is actually reintroduced after being gone since, like, I think it was Crisis on Infinite Earths when they killed her off. So again, a good story, but the cover I'm talking about is going to be the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from 2017. And that's going to be the Michael Turner one. It's like a gold and she's kind of like naked. She's got like covers. Very highly sought after again. People really love this book. Me personally, I'm not huge into Michael Turner. I do appreciate his art, but personally, it doesn't do much for me. But it is a highly sought after. People do like this book. So the next ones are a lot more readily available, and it's just going to be the Supergirl Rebirth series, the Art Germ variants. So there's a lot here to choose from. I think the Art Germ variants started around 10 or 11, and then they went up to like the early 20s and stuff. So you have some pretty decent covers. Me personally, my favorite ones are like 15, where she's like getting ready to take flight. She's like taking off the business suit, kind of a homage to like Superman. And then I also like number 17, which is like a super wholesome cover. Like, how can you not like number 17? So again, all these Art Germ ones are very good. If you find them in back issue bins, I think they're totally worth it to add to your Supergirl collection. So this last one, I'm gonna be giving you guys a bonus wild card book. So this bonus wild card book is like way in the future, okay? And this is pretty much like unlikely, but you know, you can find it cheap, and if it does happen, it's potential to have good payoff. Some of it is, and that is Green Lantern number 28, Red Daughter of Krypton. So this is the first appearance of Kara Zor-El as a Red Lantern. So again, if Green Lantern hits, again, a lot of things can happen between then and now and all that stuff. But eventually, if the Green Lanterns do hit, there's always, or even if they mess things up, there's always the option of them resetting the universe with the Blackest Night. It's kind of the same way that they're redoing it, resetting it right now with Flashpoint. They can do the same thing with Blackest Night, but in order for the Blackest Night to happen, they're gonna have to introduce all the other color spectrums, including the Red Lanterns, which are pretty cool, guys. So again, so yeah, that's it for all the books. Though I think those are a pretty solid stock of books. Again, not a whole lot here because it's Supergirl. There's not a whole lot of Supergirl collectors out there, so also not a whole lot of like great Supergirl runs. Most of them are kind of like go from average to slightly above average and stuff like that. So with the exception of this last Tom King one, which I thought was above average. Strongly recommend you guys read Supergirl Wool of Tomorrow by Tom King. I think it's at least worth checking out. And with that being said, man, you guys stay cool, all right? Peace.